Good morning. It is Tasha MAMABEAR Prepping. How are you? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. We're just going to get right into it, dive deep right into what is going on with China and how that relationship with them is very tense right now. And there's a lot of times for tick for tat over the years, over the last just several months, that we've upset them on multiple different ways, from just people trying to travel, right? Our government officials trying to travel. Things have just upset them. Everything upsets them. They're very, very sensitive. And so I think what's gearing up is obviously a war front. Now, I don't want to get so much into timelines and war fronts and all this stuff, but there's a lot of talk about stuff very, very soon. And there's dates pushing outwards of 2 years. There's just all types of dates being pushed. Soon dates, 24 weeks. I'm hearing all types of crazy stuff. Now, I would not pay attention so much to dates, because that will rattle you, that will make you go crazy, insane. It will cause undue stress, undue anxiety. That's just not needed right now and not necessary. This whole thing with the balloon is just the latest thing to really upset them. I haven't watched the news at all today yet, so I'm not sure if they've figured out the thing that they've shot down yesterday over Alaska. But it will be interesting to find out its connection, if at all, to China as well. What it was, what its purpose was, all of that good stuff. But just the way that they're talking and the language they're using, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure that belongs to China. That might be something else. Okay. This is my first coffee, you guys. It's so good. Okay. This is what I think, as a preparedness people, as mothers, as fathers, as people that are just simply trying to get ahead of things and prepare and be ready for stuff, is simply stockpiling the things, ensuring that you're doing your inventories, you're taking a look at what's in your house, you're organizing that stuff to make more room. Because I know a lot of people are saying, hey, I'm running out of space, I don't have any more room. You do have room. I promise you, you do. Especially if you've never reorganized stuff, organize stuff. Just organizing your pantry alone, if you've never done that, you will be surprised. You'll probably double the space that you have. I know you don't think that. I know that it looks full, it looks crammed. You just keep shoving stuff in there like a little squirrel. But I'm telling you what, if you take it all out and you actually organize it, put the vegetables with the vegetables, put the soups with the soups, and you organize like that and you stack it nice and neat, you probably are going to double your space. So take a look around. Look at your beds, look at your storage that you can do. You can go to Dollar Tree and get a lot of stuff. It doesn't have to be over the top expenses of what you're having. Save your Amazon boxes, save your stuff, cut them down, put stuff in there, shove those under the bed. It doesn't have to be some kind of fancy box, okay? Go to the thrift store, get an old trunk, get some old dressers, throw them in the closet, throw them in the corner, start putting stuff in them. I think that it's important to stockpile. Now, the reason why I say that is because everything that we buy is touched by China. I was mailing something to somebody in Australia, and I'm watching it as a transit, and that mail's going through China. And I'm just like, wow, we just cannot stay away from them. Everything happens through them. Everything comes from them. But there is some relief, if you will, to an extent, of what this looks like for us, in my opinion. Me and hubby were discussing this. He sees things a little bit different. I'm concerned about certain items that we get from there that we would then not get. If we get into any kind of conflict with them, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to turn off imports, exports. They're going to turn off the stuff that has to do with essential life things. They're going to cut off. They're not going to send us any more medicines and chips and electronics for different stuff, especially if it's something that has to do with anything that would help us, running our cars, running our equipment, helping our military in any way, any fashion, any parts and pieces that come from them that help us in any way. Especially food, obviously, water, anything that's consumable like that. They might not shut it all the way off, because they have an economy, right? They have folks that, because this is the thing, and this is where hubby comes in. He's like, look, I don't think that they would totally shut down because we are their biggest consumer, right? We are how they're getting money, how they get paid. We are the reason why their workers have jobs in all those factories that make the various things that we consume, that we buy, right? We are the buyer. And so when you turn that off, now we don't have anything to buy. Yes, we hurt, which would be the point. But they would hurt in the sense of they're not making money. And it would be twofold for them, because it would be they're not making any money because we're not there to buy. Now, there's other countries they could sell to, of course. But of course, big wars like this, like a war between America and China, is going to have countries start popping off on what side they stand, okay? And there's just not that many that are going to stand on their side. I'm just keeping it 100. We are considered the powerhouse, if you will, to a lot of the world, okay? Still, even though a lot of us living here are like, I don't know about that, right? Whatever. So you would have countries that would stand up. They would sell obviously to who they could to make money. But the twofold is then their workers, all these companies that are over there manufacturing stuff, making pieces, sending it out, their whole supply chain folks, all that employment will go down the drain, because therefore they have no one to sell to. So why would those companies, those factories, those different places, why would they stay in business when there's nobody to buy the said product? Okay, so now the thing is though is, and maybe I'm giving them too much credit, I don't know, but I think that they've prepared for that. I think that they've thought that through, and they've thought, what happens the day we go to war with somebody like the United States who buys so much stuff from us as our biggest consumer? How do we still survive in that capacity, right? How do we not shut down our own economy by doing that, right? Wars are expensive, right? And so there would be that aspect of it as a positivity for them possibly. But we always say when we get into a money issue, how do we fix it? We fix it with war. That's just how asinine we are over here. That's what has to happen. When you have a recession and you get into money issues, a war is what happens. So my concern is stockpiling, but stockpiling certain things. So my concentration is on medicines, right? Anything, medicine. Where does India stand in regards to China and the United States? Because India is the second place that has the most medicine. Something to think about. So medicine, medical supplies. Now, there's a lot of stuff that are homegrown, homemade. But what people don't realize is when you have a business and you have pieces and you're putting those pieces together, a lot of folks, whether you like it or not, are in America making a product, and they are buying the pieces from overseas. They are buying because it's cheaper, and they're buying the little pieces, whatever, overseas in China, or they're sending their model of what it is they make, and they're sending it there, and it's being made in China. It's been built and put together in China, and then shipped back to them, and then they're shipping it to you. There's so many things. If you just start looking at anything, just start looking at it, and you'll be crazy about how much stuff is made in China. This stuff says that it's in Cincinnati, but I just grabbed it. But you would be surprised, just all types of things, okay? Tools, garden tools, different things. I think that we have to be concerned with anything that has to do with our everyday survival life over here. If that's medicines, if that's tools, if that's electrical pieces for certain things that we'd have to have or want to have, anything that has to do with food and water and surviving, I do think that they would attack us on other ways that would hurt us. But, when it comes to the supply chain part of it, I am concerned about, hey, get the things you need, because our stores would not just be filled again with stuff, right? There's a lot of food products people don't realize that come from China. They're like, oh, well, this is where I Googled and I see that this is what we import from them. But not realizing a lot of stuff is still manufactured. I seen a video the other day on apple juice, and the little barcode area that is on the juice, not where it says, not on the label itself, on the barcode part where it would typically have the expiration date, and it's in black lettering or white lettering sometimes on the plastic. and it was saying it's China. The apple juice came from China. And so it's just crazy because you think certain things, if you don't research, are made a certain way or whatever. And I'm telling you, there is so much stuff that comes from that country, pieces and aspects, and it would disrupt in a lot of ways that people are just not ready for. And so as a prepper, or somebody that's stockpiling or trying to get ahead of that piece, you really just need to think about, what are the things that I prep in my home that matter to me that are in any way associated with China, right? And a big part of that is medicine and medical supplies. That is like a 100% concern right now, or a priority of effort, if you will, is getting the medicines, and not just medicines, vitamins, holistic stuff, everything that has to do with medical side, the medical field, getting those things. All those little things, blood pressure cuffs and, stethoscope and tourniquets. And yes, do we have American companies that you can get that stuff from? Yes. But as we know, some of them are getting that stuff from China. And then also some of them are not, they're getting their pieces, right? They're selling you a product, but those pieces are coming from different places, right? It's just very, very important to know where your stuff is coming from, know where it's being made, because not so much to be biased. I mean, a lot of people that watch me, I know they want to do American made, and they watch that stuff because there's a bias. You're not trying to give them any more money. But a lot of folks just simply do not know, have no clue, no clue. I remember making candles and trying to find vessels, and I found a site and I was like, oh my gosh, it's a bulk site. It's awesome. It's overseas. Obviously, I love this. I'm going to be able to buy vessels for like 10 cents a piece. This is awesome. And then I just did a little bit of research and realized it's right out of China, right? And so that was a no-go, right? So it cost me way more to make a candle because of the vessels I buy. But that's my choice to not buy in certain places, right? And then I had to research the place I'm getting it from in America. Where are they actually having the glass made? Where is that actually happening at, right? Is it overseas somewhere, or is it here in the United States? So that stuff does matter to me, but it matters more to me because I have all types of stuff I use that's from China. I get from China. I get boxes delivered here all the time. China, right? So I just think that it's important that whatever's in your house and is the most important thing to prep. We already know that food and water is important because you need it to live. And so continue to do that. But continue to get stuff in bulk. Continue to think years and to prepare for years because you don't know how long a conflict could be. And prepare for that medical side. That's a huge piece. And because to me, the other things that are manufactured over there, whatever, it's like if you don't have it in your house by now, it really doesn't even matter. Like you're just going to have to live life without it anyway. So it doesn't matter. But you do have time. So if you have the money and you have the time and you know your holes, get those extra tools, get those extra garden tools, get those extra tools for your house, get your extra anything. If there's electrical stuff that you need, electronics, just stuff for the kiddos for school, your computer, your phone is about to take a crap, whatever aspect, right? If this is not a problem from buying from them, obviously, you need to get those things in check and get them now before it's a problem, right? And that's not even touching on whatever they will try to do to us in other ways to hurt us via attacking infrastructure, attacking, cyber attacks, any of that stuff, right? I don't know how hardcore in the paint they'll be. I don't know if they'll just keep it to a simple war right there in on Taiwan, on the island, and that's it. And we're sending people there, and we have our boats there, our ships there, and that's it. Or is the plan much bigger than it appears, right? I just know that you need to prepare for the things and for life to change in a drastic way, that all this easy touch and go and grab, I could just go on Amazon and in 2 seconds get something, and most of the time I can get it the next day or the next day, and just that ease of stuff, that's not going to happen anymore. You're not going to have that. And you talk about supply chain issues, it's going to be crazy. Think about, mail, for example, me mailing something to somebody in Australia, and it transiting through there. And you're like, okay, well, what does that mean for the future? If there was war, does that mean all that mail would stop? Is there another direction the mail could go? There's so many things that change, is what I'm saying. Aspects that you just don't think about, little daily things like that, like the letter, for example. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So, nothing to freak out about. I'm definitely not freaking out. Hubby definitely is like, he thinks that definitely some stuff will stop for a fact, right? Certain things absolutely they will stop in war. It's written into their law. But he thinks that some stuff will still be okay. But again, is it the stuff we're going to care about? Oh, they're still going to ship us little plush puppy dogs, little toys, like stuff like that. They're still going to send us furniture or you know what I'm saying? But they're not going to send us stuff that's going to be essential to life, right? Food, water, meds, electrical pieces to things, parts to things that they know we need to be able to survive and have a good life, right? Those essential, just like during COVID, and we talked about the essential places of business being open. It's almost like that, like anything that's essential to your life, that they're not going to be sending that stuff to you, right? Imagine if like dog food or cat food or animal food, livestock, whatever comes from over there, that stuff's stopping, right? Anything to hurt us in our everyday essential life. Replacement pieces for things, they're just not going to send it because they know that, we suffer if we can't get stuff. Yeah, there's a suffering of, I can't hit a button and order something. Oh, poor Americans can't order something. But it's way more than that. It's way more than that. And to me, the medical aspect of it is very, very, very important. And again, where does India fall into all of this? Because they are the second biggest, place that we get medical supplies from, medical pieces, medicine pieces. Because remember, some stuff is made in America, right? Medicine, but pieces, the ingredients for those medicines to be made come from other countries. And so that's prescriptions, that's prescription drugs, that's different things, right? That's big pharma. Like there's a lot of folks that will be hurting in this case, okay? And so there's some things to be thought out to make sure. If you're prepping and you're thinking about all the things and you're thinking about grid down and you're thinking about, we talk about water, food, meds a lot here, you're fine. Just keep pushing forward that and just know in the mindset of how a war with China looks like for us. What does that look like? How will that affect us? How could that possibly affect you and your family and you guys sitting at the dinner table at night to eat? How does that affect you at all? If at all, right? And I think that's where these conversations are coming to. There's a lot of time frames, but again, I'm not losing sleep on time frames, right? You cannot let yourself get wrapped up into the timelines, okay? Do I think things are ramping up and there's this there's this in the air, that they're not talking to us right now and that they're very, very upset about the balloon, and that, they're announcing the whole draft thing, and maybe that's just the timing of it, and that was always going to be a thing, and that was always going to be the timeline. But just a lot of stuff has people pushing up timelines and feeling like something is going to happen sooner than later, right? Just continue to do what you do and prepare, and you'll be okay. So it's a beautiful day. The sun is out. We're about to get out and do a few things. I hope you guys have a great, great weekend. And I'll see you, if you are a patron watching this, we're going to be doing our live on Patreon today at 3. So I'll see you guys over there for that. And for the rest of you guys, I'll see you guys Monday. Take care. Bye.